conniving morning. When you had your pocket full, in a bill there'll be morning. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me morning.
Yes, morning, neighbor.
Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, I don't want you conniving morning. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me work for. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. This is all the money that me work for.
I said, morning, neighbor.
Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, I don't want you conniving morning.
Oh, Joseph. Never Joe. Never Joe. Never Joe. Oh, morning, neighbor.
Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, I don't want you conniving morning.
Morning, neighbor.
Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, you can keep your conniving morning. When you've been knocked for a bum, in a bill there'll be morning. Now because your money done, you come with conniving morning. When you had your pocket full, in a bill there'll be morning. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me morning.
Yes, morning, neighbor.
Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, I don't want you conniving morning. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me work for. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. This is all the money that me work for.
I said, morning, neighbor.
Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, I don't want you conniving morning.
Oh, Joseph. Never Joe. Never Joe. Never Joe. Oh, morning, neighbor.
Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, I don't want you conniving morning.
Morning, neighbor.
Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, you can keep your conniving morning. When you've been knocked for a bum, in a bill there'll be morning. Now because your money done, you come with conniving morning. When you had your pocket full, in a bill there'll be morning. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me morning.
Yes, morning, neighbor.
Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, I don't want you conniving morning. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me work for. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. This is all the money that me work for.
I said, morning, neighbor.
Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, I don't want you conniving morning.
Oh, Joseph.
morning time. How many of you are awake after that big concert you went to last night? Hi. Oy. How many of you are awake? How many of you have shared the live? Please do. Thank you. Numbers are small, so share the live. I share the live now, man. Why y'all always got behave so? Like y'all hate this thing. Y'all don't like hear the truth? I see some people been sharing some wisdom. You know, I always say I'm not the custodian of all wisdom. Somebody said the bridge should be at least 12 feet. Because if the pallbearers need to change. I want to tell you something. I measured a bridge yesterday. Hey, I gotta be the shadow minister of public communication and public works and everything else in this country. I represent the coalition 31 seats or wherever they get in parliament. Right? This is a one-man army. This is a one-man opposition political party they right there. Wait, I don't know. I'm not a custodian of all wisdom. But wait, am I the only person who tries to think outside of the box? When I think outside of the box, I box in a lot of people. One of what we call the big bridges in Buxton, the big bridges, I took the liberty of measuring one of them yesterday. That bridge is about 12 feet wide. As a matter of fact, I think it's about 11. Excuse me, I have to get my phone. It's away from me and it will disturb us. Now, if you follow the program, you're going to understand the format of the program. Not because it says the lines are open, now the lines are open. That was yesterday's story. The lines were open yesterday. They're now closed until I finish ranting. Good? I came on late, so I would rant for about half hour today. I will get to talk for about 8 o'clock. Yes. So we're saying the big bridge. The big bridges in the village, at least what I measured is about 12 feet. Let me give it 12 feet for giving them the benefit of the doubt. And so here it is, this viewer is saying the burial ground bridge should be at least 12 feet. Because if the pallbearers want to exchange. You know, I didn't consider that. Ever so often you see people bearing pall and they have to exchange because uncle put in some serious weight on one of them that he didn't like. That is how it goes. You ever see people fetching a casket and they're lashing it? Come the man, daddy, come the man, daddy. Daddy, light up yourself, man, what you going on with? And so on. And then daddy giving them some serious weight because the child that fetching daddy, that daddy believe that daddy believed he had, daddy got the grave. Thinking there's not me picnic. And so they pick and daddy decided to get him some weight. And so they got to move out the way and so for somebody else to take over. You got to switch. Yes, these things happen. They do exchange pall when they're thing. And I didn't consider that. Right? I just consider, listen, if this casket is 2.5 feet, you got 2.5 feet left. And I actually mapped it out on the ground yesterday to show one of the builders what I'm thinking about. Because here, listen, as a teacher, I always like to go to the examples, practical. So when you map it out on the ground, you really see. Y'all try doing it. Measure 5 foot. Take 2.5 feet in the middle. Right? And you're going to realize what's left at the end. You get 2.5 foot, which is 1.25 on both sides. But then there are those handles on the casket. When you open them up, each of them will take up another 4 inches or so, so 8 inches gone on both sides. Right? So what was 1.25 is now reduced to what? 1.25 is 15 inches minus 4, you now got about 11 inches. Less than a foot on each side of this casket for people to walk on. I know what will make it worse. They're going to put at the edge of that bridge what you call a bottom rail. That rail is going to be at least 4 inches wide. So take 4 inches from the 11 inches edge and you will get 7 inches. Right? Think about that. But so this person really put some thought into it. Yeah, people usually have to exchange pal and so on. Sickening. And I you know, sometimes I give people fair chance. Since day before yesterday, I contacted the ministry. I contacted someone in the ministry who said to me that the engineer, I don't know if that is the chief engineer, was out of the district. He had gone to Letem or somewhere. And they were going to send my information to him so that he can make contact. I also think the person said they were going to send the information to the minister also, Fisher Bishop. It's not what? Let me say 48 hours to safety. And I've not received a call. I've not received a single call from this chief engineer or whoever he is to say, well, Mr. Amsterdam, I got your contact from this person in the office who answered your call when you called, and they said you have a concern with the size of the bridge. What's really on your mind? So we can explain to them. Not a call, not a single call. And according to what I understand, the contractors, decking and bearers and stringers and so on are expected to be delivered today. Right? It means that it is likely that what will come will cater for a 5-foot bridge. And so again, we're going to be left with that comical situation there. Comical it is. Comical. You talk to the labor, quote unquote, lamest person in the community about that bridge there. They will tell you this foolishness to the highest class. And one will ask, how could it happen? When you have a neighborhood democratic council that is supposed to be representing the interests of the people, how can it happen? That you have councillors that are responsible for certain sections of the communities. How could it happen? It could happen because the bullies in central government come into the neighborhoods, do as they like, without contacting, without consulting with the NDCs. And so this can be a democracy because the democratic structure allows for central government to consult with regional government, to consult with neighborhood government. That is why they call it local government, local democracy. They bring government, local neighborhood councils bring government closest to the people so that you can have that interaction to determine what is good or bad for the people. But no, we large and in charge and we can do as we like. And so we're going to tax and we build 20, 25 bridges in Buxton, 25 contractors get money. But do these bridges really serve the need or the needs of the people? Once they build that bridge at the burial ground there, they ain't coming back in a year or two and build a bridge at the burial ground. Maybe 10, 12, 15, 20, 30 years. Done. Got to be a jackass. Thinking there's not me pick me. I started picking. And then he decided to get him some weight. And so they got to move out the way and so for somebody else to take over. You got to switch. Yes, these things happen. They do exchange Paul when they're thing. And I didn't consider that. Right? I just consider, listen, if this casket is 2.5 feet, you got 2.5 feet left. And I actually mapped it out on the ground yesterday to show one of the builders what I'm thinking about. Because here, listen, as a teacher, I always like to go to the examples, practical. So when you map it out on the ground, you really see. Y'all try doing it. Measure 5 foot. Take 2.5 feet in the middle. Right? And you're going to realize what's left at the end. You get 2.5 foot, which is 1.25 on both sides. But then there are those handles on the casket. When you open them up, each of them will take up another 4 inches or so, so 8 inches gone on both sides. Right? So what was 1.25 is now reduced to what? 1.25 is 15 inches minus 4, you now got about 11 inches. Less than a foot on each side of this casket for people to walk on. I know what will make it worse? They are going to put at the edge of that bridge what you call a bottom rail. That rail is going to be at least 4 inches wide. So take 4 inches from the 11 inches edge and you will get 7 inches. Right? Think about that. But so this person really put some thought into it. Yeah, people usually have to exchange pal and so on. Sickening. And I sometimes I give people fair chance. Since day before yesterday, I contacted the ministry. I contacted someone in the ministry who said to me that the engineer, I don't know if that is the chief engineer, was out of the district. He had gone to Lethem or somewhere. And they were going to send my information to him so that he can make contact. I also think the person said they were going to send the information to the ministers, Fisher Bishop. It's not what? Let me say 48 hours to safety. And I've not received a call. I've not received a single call from this chief engineer or whoever he is to say, well, Mr. Amsterdam, I got your contact from this person in the office who answered your call when you called, and they said you have a concern with the size of the bridge. What's really on your mind? So we can explain to them. Not a call, not a single call. And according to what I understand, the contractors, decking and bearers and stringers and so on are expected to be delivered today. Right? It means that it is likely that what will come will cater for a 5-foot bridge. And so again, we're going to be left with that comical situation there. Comical it is. Comical. You talk to the labor, quote-unquote, lamest person in the community about that bridge there. They will tell you it is foolishness to the highest class. And one will ask, how could it happen? When you have a neighborhood democratic council that is supposed to be representing the interests of the people, how can it happen? That you have councillors that are responsible for certain sections of the communities. How could it happen? It could happen because the bullies in central government come into the neighborhoods, do as they like, without contacting, without consulting with the NDCs. And so this can be a democracy because the democratic structure allows for central government to consult with regional government, to consult with neighborhood government. That is why they call it local government, local democracy. They bring government, local neighborhood councils bring government closest to the people so that you can have that interaction to determine what is good or bad for the people. But no, we large and in charge and we can do as we like. And so we can talk, so we build 20 to 25 bridges in Buxton, 25 contractors get money. But do these bridges really serve the need or the needs of the people? Once they build that bridge at the burial ground there, they ain't coming back in a year or two and build a bridge at the burial ground. Maybe 10, 12, 15, 20, 30 years before anybody attempts to build another bridge here. And so for 10, 12, 15, 30 years, mourners will be faced with that same challenge. How we kind is dead across here by? And now that I talk about it, I remember when the Kabbalah just got into power, Robeson Ben walked down the sideline dam in its terrible state. He couldn't drive in. It was too bumpy for him. He walked. And so he had a first-hand experience of the bad state of the road. And he walked over that same bridge, so he knew how big it was. And he saw the state of the burial ground covered in bushes. And he made commitments. He said to residents along the way that he's going to make representation to the road for the road to be fixed. 2 years later, the road is even in a worse state. And you're all telling me that these black ministers got authority in the PPP government? Y'all telling me that the words got weight? 2 years later, and the burial ground has not been cleaned. At least not through the efforts of Ropes and Ben. And y'all telling me the words got weight? And we must respect them? But these things can only happen, and will continue to happen, for very many reasons. And I'll share them with you. Right? I'll share them with you. People in communities are no longer, or it would appear, people in communities are no longer concerned about their communities and the growth and development of their communities. There is no longer community pride. Buxton was once the premier village. And those of you who understand what that meant, it means Buxton was first after the city. Premier. Right? Buxton was first after the city. Buxton was on the way to becoming a town. Buxton was on the way to becoming a town. It has police station in close proximity. Health center, which was supposed to be a cottage hospital. They have the facility there. Post office. They have a bank in close proximity. Just built a few mornings ago, quite frankly. There's some things which were derailed and prevented Buxton from becoming a town. Fair enough. But Buxtonians had the pride of knowing that they lived in a community that is described as a premier village. Most advanced tradesmen, academia, everything we provided for this country. We had that sense of pride, community pride. And so you couldn't come to Buxton and do stupidness. Contractors coming to Buxton to do work, citizens will come out and see what they're doing and question. And even demand that they get to work on some of these projects. But now, whosoever will may come, do what you want with me. And so as we rock back, with a sense of loss, very few of us fighting to defend the name of the community and ensure fair treatment. People are just coming and say like, or you could walk into a community and just decide, okay, I see 25 bridges, I'm going to repair them, or I'm going to replace them, I'm going to do them over. But you don't consult with the residents, and that is allowed to pass. Where are the people to stand up and say, unless this bridge is going to be built the way we want it built, it can't be? Huh? Unless this bridge is going to serve the real purpose for which it is being built, it can't build. Where are those people? And not only in the Buxtonian community, but across the country. Where are the people to stand up and say, if this road can't be fixed, nobody will get to use it. We're going to barricade it with our bodies and other things. That's how you get change. That's how you get change. But nobody wants to change anything. Everybody just wants to talk. Pay lip service to what is happening. How many years the DPP has been misbehaving? Because that's what I said, misbehavior. I often talk about, look at the cases that are being collected by the DPP and null-prost. 99.99% of those cases involve Guyanese of Indian ancestry. Friends and cronies of the PPP cabal. And that must say that something is wrong in the office of the DPP. But citizens haven't found themselves in front of the DPP or in front of the office of the president demanding that the DPP be fired, be removed. The Judicial Service Commission is supposed to take complaints when these things happen. Is there even a Judicial Service Commission? Can complaints be taken there? As a matter of fact, I spoke to a senior lawyer, a senior counsel some time ago, and I asked the question, why are complaints taken against the DPP to the Judicial Service Commission or wherever? And then you hear about this whole camaraderie. No lawyer wants to bail the cat because the Bar Association is likely to look upon them differently. Friends and cronies, and I keep saying that is why nothing is changing in this country politically and otherwise. Because the politicians want to be good friends with their political opponents. And the legal fraternity wants to remain fraternal. And nobody is standing up for what is right. Everybody is about friends and families and favorites. While the ordinary citizen is sucking salt. There's a lewd joke about what politics is. The little boy went home and he asked his father, what is politics? Father told him, I am the government. Your mother is the union. The maid is the working class. And you are the citizens. In the middle of the night, the baby brother of the child defecated in the pampers. The child woke up and realized it. Mother is asleep. Can't find the father. Can't find the maid. His baby brother is wallowing in shit. And he decided to search. And when he turned up in the maid quarters, the father is in there having a good time with her. He went to school the next day and he told the teacher, Teacher, I understand what is politics. Teacher asked for an explanation. Y'all know the rest. The government is having a good time with the working class. The unions are asleep and the citizens are in shit. That is the most practical explanation of politics. And that is what we're experiencing in this country. Nobody is doing anything to change it. So this DPP can do as she likes. Decides who gets charged and charged for what. Even if you file a private criminal charge, she has the authority. She can take it over and throw it out. And you think that is indecent? What is indecent is the blatant disregard for even decency. That is hackers. Now we learned a day or two ago that the police prosecutor, Mandela Moore or Mandel Moore or whatever they call it, was held on the bench for contempt of court by a sitting magistrate in the DION BASCOM cyberbullying case. And he was held in contempt because, according to my understanding, he was instructed by the magistrate to produce certain documents, digital or otherwise, to the courts. Documents which are readily and easily available. but maybe documents that will not prove his case. Documents that might discredit his case. And so he has been making all kinds of excuses and not obeying the order of the magistrate. And so the magistrate, I would say out of frustration or out of recognizing that there is disrespect and she would not have her court disrespected like that, ordered him held in contempt. Yesterday, they were supposed to return to court with him producing those documents. Instead of that, what happened? The hack wrote to the Chancellor of the Judiciary, who appoints magistrates according to my understanding, to cases and so on. Writes to the Chancellor and requested that that magistrate be replaced in the trial. And everybody is whispering that the hack is taking political instruction, and the hack is biased, and the hack is interfering in these cases and so on. But nobody is turning up in front of the offices of the hack and the president and all of them and say the hack must go. Nobody is turning up in front of the courts and protesting and say that Lady Justice is no longer blind. Lady Justice is racist in an apartheid Guyana. Nobody is doing that. And we expect change to come. How will we get this change? The very Bar Association, you don't hear them criticizing the hack. Despite the fact that many of their members are being affected by these wicked and politically destructive instructions and actions of the hack. Civil society is quiet. The so-called guardians of democracy are asleep. The political representatives of the people are playing circus. Whether they call you think they're playing musical chairs or what, they're playing something with the minds of the people, because nothing is happening that will change the situation. The media is worse. Every media worker, the majority of media worker, basically are concerned about getting paid. Why this man owns the media house, and we say must do what he can do. Where is the integrity? Where's the credibility? Media doesn't report on certain things objectively, or they don't investigate. Can you imagine citizens, albeit 5 of them, as 5 persons, as they say, is a 5-man protest, being in front of GCOM for 7 days or 6 days, 7 days, protesting, calling for certain changes, and the media has not reported on that? Why? Because it wasn't big and, what you call it, disorderly. They will only report on disorderly protests to say them hooligans being out there. And when the media is not objective anymore, and civil society organizations are not objective anymore, your society is in deep shit. Right now, I think we shoulder deep. And nobody's trying to dig out. So we're going to be covered in it. Do you know how serious and dangerous it is? When the judiciary of your country is politically controlled, Justice is for sale. Justice is already for sale in this country. What are we waiting for? Until our freedoms are sold by Lady Justice? What are we waiting for? I mean, the client say you can't tell people where to do, what to do, how to do. But I don't think it is the role of us to tell people what to do and to do, how to do. I think the role is to bring the information to the people, let the people understand it clearly, and make a determination. But hey, this got to be the most comatose society. Because with all of the ills that are being perpetrated in this society, I don't see anybody doing anything to effect rapid change. The politicians are doing just enough to make it appear as though they're doing something while waiting for 2025. I don't see it any other way. They are biding their time and playing it safe so that they can stay in the race. They can stay on the good side of the leader. They can stay on the good side of the leader of the party. They can stay on the good side of the general secretary of the party. They can stay on the good side of the leader of the list. So when 2025 comes, they will be present. But what is happening to the people in the meantime? What is happening to the people in the meantime? Families are without justice, or in Boston, Quindon Bacchus, DION BASCOM, the guy that was, well, there were several of them shot up in that car. People's families are without justice. Those who were dismissed are without justice. Those who are being victimized on the jobs are without justice. But we got political leaders, civil society leaders dancing a masquerade and waiting for 2025. Well, even if you're going to build a house in 2025, it suggests to me that you need a foundation on which to build. If you are going to be victorious in 2025 at the national and regional elections, general and regional elections, then you got to get a foundation on which to build. What foundations are we laying? Do you see the political elites fighting for the list to be cleaned? Do you see the political elites fighting for biometrics? Do you see the political elites fighting for a biased and perhaps corrupted commission chairman to be removed? Do you see the political elites and civil society leaders insisting and fighting for fairness in hiring practices at GCOM? I don't see it. And so those are foundational items to any free, fair, and credible elections. And if you can't fight for that to be in place, then come 2025, what are you building on sand? You expect to win an election with the same status quo? They say mad, insane, crazy is the person who does the same thing over and over and expects a different result. And so our politicians and elitists and civil society leaders must be mad. They must be mad. And they're throwing trinkets at you as if they're victorious in what they're doing. Sad to say, I mean, many people see me as part of the process. And I'm sure these politicians get mad when I analyze and talk about certain things in certain ways. But I have no fear. I ain't hoping to get on no list. I ain't looking for votes. I'm looking for democratic and principled Guyana. And if it means I have to be off of a list or out of parliament or out of government, fine by me. Once we get a democratic and fair Guyana. People celebrating getting Claudette Singh to send the remainder of a list to prove that dead and absent people voted in the last elections for verification. I tell you quite frankly, I don't see how that can be beneficial right now to the coalition. I don't see how it could be beneficial to the opposition. I don't see how it could be beneficial to the case. Why am I saying that? Because the PPP knew that they would come to this point. And unlike the opposition, the PPP was laying a foundation for when it gets to this point. When they were installed, they took over the GRO, the General Registrar's Office. When they decided that we are going to challenge this list, they took over the Immigration Office. Those are the two most important state agencies when it comes to the verification of this list that the opposition is celebrating. They got Claudette Singh to send for verification. When they were installed, they took over the Guyana Police Force, the Commissioner of Police, who is the Chief Immigration Officer. Understand the structure in this country. The Commissioner of Police is the Chief Immigration Officer. Whoever is at the Immigration Office itself is Deputy Chief as far as I understand it now. At the GRO, the registrar runs things. At the GRO, that is where births, deaths, marriages, change of names, all of those things happen at the GRO. Now, so let's be reasonable. Let's reason this thing out now. So the coalition said I got 10,000 persons. 5,000 dead. Let's say 3,000 dead. And 7,000 overseas who voted in the last election. In order to prove that list accurate, you have to go to the records of GRO. The records of GRO will show you if those 3,000 were actually dead or are actually dead. And so when the PPP controls GRO and they produce information to say that according to our records, 2,999 of these persons are still alive. How does it help your cause? Y'all tell me, explain why we're celebrating that. Because Buru is a GRO, Cummins was a GRO, and perhaps still is, I don't know. But these are PPP lackeys, these are PPP tools, these are PPP psychopaths, these are PPP, whatever you want to call them, gatekeepers. You think they will produce information to substantiate your claims? Well, I got to be mad to believe it. want to believe it. And so when you go to the immigration department to check the 700, to test the veracity of this claim on the 7,000 that voted while absent from the country, you put up with this guy Pollard, I think his name is. Somebody says that Ejil, brother. We ran. They say that Ejil, his mother's Ejil, his father is Pollard or whatever it is. But what I know for a fact, he's a close friend and confidant perhaps, but he's a close friend of the fat guy. He was a part of the security detail of the fat guy. And so they did their thing. And just like they did their thing and placed Hicken as Commissioner of Police and Chief Immigration Officer, they did their thing and placed this Pollard guy at immigration. And so, do you think, knowing that he's a staunch PPP member, do you think he's going to provide information to authenticate, to substantiate the claims of the coalition? What are we celebrating? Walking into a trap? Making this request that Claudette Singh submits the outstanding names was walking into a trap as far as I'm concerned. And it was pure academic because it has no real value quite frankly right now. It has no real value. We know, we understand that the PPP is going to use that same process to try to discredit that information when it comes to the hearing of the petition. And that is why they were laying their foundations. They were laying their foundations. What foundations are being laid? By us, who seem to want to sit out until 2025. Let me just bide with time. Just as how the DPP must go because she's taking political actions, instructions, and obstructing the natural course of justice, Claudette Singh must go because she too is guilty of the same thing. Some people say Claudette Singh is acting under duress because the PPP has filth on her. Well, I don't know about them. But yeah, what I have to do, yeah, I got to do because I didn't resign. And since Claudette Singh doesn't seem to want to resign willingly, somebody has to force her to resign. The citizens have that responsibility. It's now 6 minutes past 8 o'clock. I think I did say I will allow you to talk from this time. The lines are open. Lines are open. Let me hear you all call for boots on the ground, but don't show up when it comes to that time. The lines are open. On Sunday, I plan to walk in the West Penitence area with a few friends and comrades of mine and talk to people there and try to get a feel of what the people think is happening politically in this country and so on. I invite some of you to come along with me. Hit me up in the WhatsApp if you have that interest. It's Sunday afternoon. We're going to do it from 3 o'clock. So y'all ain't got to go to work. You ain't got to take a day off. Let me see who coming out. Call it live. Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Kadeki. Good morning, everyone in the diaspora. Good morning, all Guyanese. Yes, quite a few things have been happening. It's interesting that the things you said this morning, I'm encouraged by the things you said because I heard you putting more pressure of accountability on the opposition. Sounds to me like you were saying that the opposition isn't doing sufficient. And I'm glad to hear you saying that, more pronounced. the things which you explained this morning about the lack of action by the opposition doesn't mean the opposition isn't doing anything, but they are doing the kinds of things that are needed to be done at this junction, and that's a distinction. The type of clothes you wear in the winter is not the type of clothes you wear in the summer. Yes, you're wearing clothing, but you're not wearing the appropriate clothing for the season. And what we're saying about the coalition is that they're not doing the appropriate or taking the appropriate action for the time that we're in. Yesterday, Dr. Hinds talked about where you're going to get people to do the kinds of things that needs to be done if you're not cultivating them. I personally believe that the coalition needs to diversify its efforts, at least a third of its efforts, working with the youths. And if you don't work with the youths, don't expect to reap the fruits that you're seeking to reap. Now, the coalition has not been doing the kind of cultivation that Dr. Hinds is talking about. That's why he spoke about it yesterday. He's a scientist. He analyzes the situation. He knows that we are calling for certain help, but the help which we're seeking, we're not cultivating it. So it leaves us now to do critical thinking. The coalition knows what has to be done, but why it's not doing it? See, that makes you suspicious. That makes us suspicious. Right now we have Guyana on the verge of being a failed state. The courts are not functioning as they should be. Just yesterday, a magistrate was locked up by a corrupted DDP or DPP. That's like the pot calling the kettle black. So the Justice Department is imploding upon itself. The police, we saw what state of affairs they're in. Right? They've imploded for the last 23 years with death squads. And the State Department had said that. Now, we've got the executive branch. The executive branch has gone so far, they're so drunk and disorderly, they are now disrespecting the Constitution at random. So you've got the executive branch malfunctioning, you've got the judicial branch malfunctioning, and you've got the legislative branch can't function. Are we paying attention here? All three branches of governments are failing before our eyes, and that's what I'm explaining. Nobody can say that Guyana is not becoming or isn't already a failed state. These branches of governments have already failed. They're already failing. I'm saying to the opposition that you are the steward of a failing government. And I'm saying to the PPP that you are administrating over a failed administration. Crying out loud, it's not like you've got one, you've got all three. Failing. Rotting before your eyes. So, my question to the opposition is this, because my concern is opposition. As far as I'm concerned, the PPP could duck and drown. My concern is, can we salvage our opposition? Because I have a vested interest as a voter. So, my vote is invested in the opposition. Now, we cannot afford to preside over a failing situation, because we ourselves are culpable to that failure. So either the opposition takes itself out of that failing situation because it's part of the government, or we will have to act and do what needs to be done. I'm glad that Kadaki is talking about the people taking action. In order for the people to take action, we got to cultivate militancy action. We look at Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka didn't happen in a vacuum. Sri Lanka had the longest going guerrilla war in the world for the last 60 years. Black Lives Matter didn't happen in a vacuum. They had black militancy ever since the 60s. These pushbacks to a dictatorship government, an apartheid state, overreaching of the executive branch, when we push back, those pushbacks happen as a result of cultivation. We have got to cultivate the youth. And I'm saying, if anyone really wants to have people to stand up and push back, we've got to plant the seeds. Sheep don't make goat. We've heard that before. We've got to get with the youth groups and sensitize these youth groups. And if Rickford Bork is interested in that, then I would ask Rickford Bork for the 1,000th time to put his money where his mouth is. We respect the work Rickford Bork is doing. Now he's in a situation, and our hearts go out, and we stand in solidarity with Comrade Rickford Bork. But I'm saying to Rickford Bork and Mark Benchchop that we have got to re-diversify our efforts and focus more on the youth groups. What we're doing is no secret. We need to cultivate militancy and militancy consciousness in the youths. And I'm saying, if we have the platforms, why not reallocate our efforts? Because we've been trying the talk game long enough. Nothing wrong with the talk game. But let's get with some of the militancy cultivating game. We can take a few lessons from the Nation of Islam, the Black Panther movement. There's nothing wrong with that. It's all legal. So all I'm saying is let's reconsider our approach and reallocate more of our efforts and focus on the youth. I don't want to speak too many things about how we're going to do what we're going to do, but we got to do something, goddammit. Once again, I humbly submit. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for calling. I don't know what situation y'all think Rickford Bork in. People seem to believe Rickford Bork is in a situation, but I don't know what situation Rickford Bork is in. What I can tell you all is that I have confidence that Rickford Bork is no damn fool. I have that confidence. And so, let us see. Let the games begin. That's all I can say. Let the games begin. Let the games begin. I don't know how it will end, what will be the final score, but let the games begin. I don't have to come out in defense of Rickford. Rickford is capable, I can tell you that. At least that's my belief. Right? Let's show y'all something. I don't know if I'm not in keeping, I'm not following the news. Look at that screen here.
Automate quote to
Y'all
cash.
notice that?
I see them coming after my soul, wanting to take control. Wanna give me laughs, wanna give me bling, wanna give me all the material things. I hear them talking about what the world has to offer. Girl, what you doing, don't you see? What they have done to Bedouin and Marcus, Jesus and all of the prophets. But I'm
not afraid.
No, Most High One.
They don't mind
when you fall behind and can't pay your bills
sometime.
on time. Prostituting and standing in a them government line.
They don't mind.
And they don't mind when you waste your time coming up with some stupid lines, influencing the youth them to snort a line or take a life. And they don't mind when you're locked up in jail, can't get no bail, sentence for life. I can't see your youth and strive. No, they don't mind. But I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. No, if them a come, let them come, 'cause I'm protected by the Most High One.
Yes, it is today's show.
Thinking they don't know
What you didn't expect me to be on?
I see them coming after my soul,
Trying to take control.
Wanna give me laughs, wanna give me bling, wanna give me all the material things. I hear them talking about what the world has to offer. Girl, what you doing, don't you see what they have done to Bedouin and Marcus, Jesus and all of the prophets? But I'm not afraid, no, I'm not afraid, no, I'm not afraid, no, if them a come, let them come, 'cause I'm protected by the Most High One. They don't mind when you fall behind and can't pay your bills on time, prostituting and standing in a them government line. No, and they don't mind when you waste your time coming up with some stupid lines, influencing the youth them to snort a line or take a life. And they don't mind when you're locked up in jail, can't get no bail, sentence for life. I can't see your youth them strive. No, they don't mind. But I'm not afraid, no, I'm not afraid, no, I'm not afraid, no, if them a come, let them come, 'cause I'm protected by the Most High One.
Morning, neighbor, morning. In case you're wondering, this is the Buxtonian morning time for
premium off-roading. The new
What is my
GMC
God,
Sierra
everybody?
AT4X.
none of y'all think I'm man, what y'all doing? That was your problem. Good. Yes, in case you're wondering, this is the Buxtonian morning time for October 3rd, 2022. Yes, we're on. We got our own challenges, but we're on.
Conniving morning, when you had your pocket full, in our bills there'll be morning. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me morning. Yes, morning, neighbor. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, I know what you conniving morning. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me work for. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. This is all the money that me work for. I said money neighbor, money neighbor, money, money neighbor, money, money. I know what you can have in money. Oh, Joseph.
Joseph. Poor me. I don't know what I want with me. Oh. Morning, are you morning? Welcome to another program of Buxtonian Morning Time. It's the 3rd of October. It's now 24 minutes past the 7 o'clock hour. I'm not late, I'm deliberate. What's wrong with y'all? Yeah, they can't keep a good man down, you know. Carol Jacobs said that. They can't keep a good man down. They can't keep us down. When they punch you down, what do? You get up, smile in their faces and ask, is that all you got? So I want you all to join me in asking the PPP this morning and the enablers and the hackers, is that all you got? Kams TV page has been hacked. It was disappeared from my profile. Somebody hacked it. Well, you know, I was fighting this battle for months. I did mention to you long ago that I'm fighting a battle with my page, with Kams TV page. And you all should start migrating to YouTube. I was telling you to migrate to YouTube because of this day. But you are stubborn. I is hard. They speak, let us feel. And so there are lots of people now who can't get a show. I know that for a fact. Because we're about 1/3 of our usual viewership. And so what you have to do, you have a job to do, just as I have a job to do. Well, listen, I gotta rock back and say, listen, I'm done with this damn nonsense. They hack the page, I can't get a post on the page, forget it. No. My duty, my responsibility to you is to keep you updated as well of what is happening and to hold this nasty, stinking criminal cabal accountable by publishing all that dirty linen. And so I will continue to do that. I don't care how many hoops I have to jump through to get it done. I will do it. And since you're all here with me every morning, I expect you to want to do it too. And to want it to be done successfully. So start sharing the life. Let us double the number now. Double the number now. Share to all the groups and friends and enemies and everything that you could find. Share to them right now. I'm waiting. Because I'm not afraid. Why should you be afraid? We must fly in the face of these idiots and ask them if that's all they have. I'm on my program, boy. How might I help you? Yes, in case you're wondering, I had to take that call because that call puts food on my table. That call puts food on my table and I'm responding to some idiot. Let me see if they find the name of the damn animal. Who say Kilaki must sweat? Some fool, I noticed early this morning on the live, some fool said the days of bullyism are over. And Kilaki must go and find a J-O-B, all in caps. He was shouting. And I must sweat. Well, let me tell you something. Those who know me, know me. Those who know me, know me. I've had the fortune of having 2 of our viewers come and stay in my environment for a couple of days. Right? Albert Morgan, big up yourself. Albert came here at least on 2 occasions. And had extended stay at Lou's B&B. And Albert can tell you that there is no morning that he got out of bed before me. As a matter of fact, there are some mornings when he might get out of bed and be looking for me. So all those of you think that I sit here on Buxtonian Morning Time to prostitute my education or my skill, to beg you for something, so that you could make me genuflect and bend over and so on, and do your will, think again. as I start talking about this, it wasn't my intention, but I'm going to cuss this morning. Because I'm in the mood for cuss. If they don't aggravate me, they mess up my page. I'm going to cuss a little bit. And if you get offended, it's a matter for you. But I don't intend to offend you. I'm sharing my experiences. Right? There got some folks who would send me a $10 contribution, a $20 contribution. Right? Even a $100 contribution. For the first time out of the blues, they see hey, I've been watching your show. You're doing a good job. I want to make a contribution. Send me the details. And when they get the details and that contribution is made, get some of them 72 hours after. And they will send me a task. Some of them will just look at it, bat my eyelid and say, oh, your backside passed me. Right? I grew up learning, and they always say there's no free meal in this world. The good book that we follow, good Christians follow, say, by the sweat of thy brow man shall eat bread. When I come here in the mornings, I sweat. Because you all see me looking all presentable in the mornings, behind this camera, you don't know what I do to bring the information to you. You don't know the sleepless nights I get. You don't know the separation between myself, my children, and my entire family. You don't know how far I stay from my immediate relatives because I don't want them to link to this. So when the enemy decided they're going to broke up and done, let it broke me up and done. None of y'all know the sacrifices. And so when y'all come and say, you must go look for J.O.B. Kiss my black ass. I got several J.O.B. Otherwise I couldn't survive. I couldn't even maintain this. On average, let's not question this morning. I'm not done because some people going to identify with it. On average, there's no month in this year that contributions to this program exceed $300. There are more months in this year than it is less than $300. And I can't live on $300. I got recurring expenses that are more than $300 every single month. My gas bill when the month is finished is perhaps just about a way over $300. So when y'all come here to talk crap, really ask yourself, is this man as low life as we make him out to be? I mean, people see me knocking around the place looking like a like I know owner, because I like that. I'm a simpleton. I drive in my old Betsy, my Ram. It dent up for the past year or two. I ain't fix it. Because I got priority projects. I'm telling you, I'm a business. So you want to cost me, you could cost me. But children are hungry. I know hungry. The children don't work dirty. They don't work dirty and stink. They don't beg nobody for nothing. If you see I walking around look dirty and stink, it's a chance I made. And for the most part, you can't find me walking around dirty and stink. Anytime you see me walking around dirty and stink, you're going to be in Buxton. And if you see me walking around dirty and stink in Buxton, tell yourself I'm hard at work. So whoever you be, I never look for your name. Let cost generally. You could take them to the bank. And the funny thing is, I bet my bottom dollar you have never even contributed a dime to this program. But every morning you're here to learn. Talk show is a business around the world. People advertise with talk show around the world. People pay to view talk shows around the world. And in most instances, you can't get a call to comment. This one is a free for all. You call, you talk what you like. You text, you talk what you like. And so on. Y'all come talking crap early morning. I must go look for a job. I got a job. I got several jobs. Y'all don't know the sacrifices. I come to this program about 7 in the morning live. It started at 6 o'clock. Every morning. I'm up and about before that time. Because I have things to do before. If I'm going to survive, if I'm going to be able to put food on my table, I have to do those things before. So y'all don't come around me funny. Good. And so I have to take that call. That is one of the things which puts money on my table. And so I want to tell you, for example, there's no month that your contributions surpass, or any contribution surpass $300 US. There are people on this program who can look at themselves and pat themselves on the shoulder and say, me alone just take care of 1/3 of Dubai. So y'all do the math after. You got 20 people that has contributed to this program. And the 20 certainly don't include those who come here and tell me to get a job. I got work to do that I'd rather do in the cool. But I'm here spending my cool hours of the morning with you, and then I will go in the broiling sun and do what I have to do. Because I still gotta live. But I asked all last week, is it okay to just live in your degree of comfort and watch your neighborhood in squalor? Watch your fellow citizens living in poverty and squalor, being oppressed and suppressed and depressed? No one, Ramroop is telling me, don't fret, I choose that job. How the fuck, excuse, how is a job? How suddenly is a job, Ramroop? How is a job? And people are telling me here, go and look for a job. How is a job suddenly? Y'all double standard, y'all just like the stinking dirty PPP. It's not a job. But when I'm pointing out the sacrifices, it suddenly becomes a job. Ramroop, you gotta be a damn jackass. Don't fret, you choose that job. So, it's a job when it suits you. I know I chose it. And when I started it, I said to everybody, I was actually encouraged to find ways and means for people to send contributions to me. And it's that kind of felt I don't want people to throw at me and throw in my face. That's why I kept it that way for quite a long time. Y'all remember, flashback, how long y'all had to beg me to, Mr. Arsenal must find me, let me contribute, is our struggle too. There are 2 things I don't like do. Beg and say thanks. Thanks and please. That thing bores me. I've learned over a period of time to say thank you. But please, that's still a bother for me. So I generally don't come and beg y'all for nothing. Y'all recognize that? Every once in a blue moon, I remember, but wait, we got a program and only some people contributing. Why not tell the others that they too are contributing? Huh? 500, 600, 700, 800 persons viewing. 750 of them, 60, 70, 80 of them are freeloaders. always full of opinion, got a lot of trash to throw at you. Right? Like this idiot. One time is a job and next time is not a job. We all want really blood. Y'all ain't gonna mind. I took this on and I said from the inception, hey, I'm going to do this. Because there are people, there must be someone who can fight in this society to hold this government accountable. Can you imagine the emotional stress and strain of doing this? Let's just show you. 25 contracts give out in this Buxton village for 25 bridges to small contractors. I have a registered construction business since 2003. You're telling me that if I had gotten up from where I am, walked into Buxton Temporary Hall, sat down and meet with Edgel among the small contractors, I was not going to get a contract? I guarantee you I didn't get in a contract. At that time, they might have had to find 25 bridges, 26 bridges. Right? But I guarantee you, I was going to get a contract. I guarantee you right now that if I decide to go and love up with the PPP, I am going to get contracts. Is that what I want? I would love to do some contracts. But I'm not going to sell my people and my dignity to do contracts. And it is an insult for any government to come to me and tell me, or come to my community and say, I have to meet with all of the contractors in this village. I will dump all of them in a basket called small contractors, and so they will get jobs. I am fighting for a government that will say every contractor deserves a fair chance at tendering and getting any job that they set their eyes on. That's what I'm fighting for. St. James get contract for hundreds of billions and millions of dollars. You ever heard they contracted in anything, any construction? They got people in this village who are currently doing contracts as part of the 25 contracts. As far as I know, they must never build a sty, as we just say pig pen. What this government would like to say we give you. I don't like to get on the questionable circumstances. My life is an open book. And so I know when I come and struggle, they can't say I compromise. You gotta watch him out. Right? And y'all ain't getting with the program. Y'all ain't got an understanding of what is happening in this society. And I like when I talk to people on the roadside and so on, because they help me to understand that we don't understand crap. Yesterday, one of my good Buxtonian friends talking about the coalition and do nothing for black people. Same song singing. The PPP building 25 bridges in the village. When I raised the quality of the bridges, and I said if the PPP was really serious about development in this year, 2022, they would have built concrete bridges. Individuals say we got to take what we get. No! And that is the problem in this society. People believe that they have to take what they get. Why do you have to take what you get? When you're supposed to be the owners of the resources. And you got a small group of people who are there, custodians, and taking the best of it. And you got to take what you get. That's why we live in this shithole country. And our communities are shitholes. Because people support the attitude of governments like the PPP. So long as they can take what they get. I repeat this, last week I said that because of sacrifices that myself and others made to be on the protest line and demand, 25 bridges came to Buxton to be done. But if those people who sat with Edgel as contractors had continued the protest, you could have had 25 bridges of quality being done. Number one. And number two, you could have had 10 or 15 persons doing those bridges as small contractors, and the government forced to find bigger jobs for bigger contractors. Can you imagine contractors who I know in this village having taken on multi-million-dollar contracts, hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts, bringing themselves down low to accept a contract for 5 feet bridge, accept a contract for 8 feet bridge, accept a contract for 10 feet, 12 feet bridge, when you're accustomed to doing contracts, or you were accustomed to doing contracts for 200 million and 250 million and 60, 70, 80 million, you allow this apartheid government to throw you in a basket, call you a small contractor, and dash a contract at you for 1.8 million. That's an insult that you accepted. You're prepared to sell your dignity for that? And your reputation? That's what a lot of y'all expect me to do. I ain't gonna do it. Every month I pay on this program. Every month I pay to host this program. The internet fee is in excess of $15,000. The internet security fee is in excess of $50 US. I think it's 25 monthly. Right? The streaming software is about $25 monthly. Good? So, y'all don't come wrong me funny. If I didn't have a job, I couldn't afford to do this. If I was prepared to settle for less, I would not have been doing this. I'd have been drinking warm, thin, sour soup from around the PPP table. A lot of people are happy with that. I'm not happy with that. I can't be happy with that. And I am in my comfortable life. Can I be happy sitting and watching others suffer around me? You think I gotta fight? I'm obligated to fight. I am bound to fight for that to widen that 5 feet bridge that they're building into the burial ground. I ain't dead yet. I'm not dead. There's not a problem. They gotta decide how they're gonna fetch me over the 5 feet bridge. That ain't my problem. But if I sit and I think about it like that, how am I improving my society? You think I am bound to tell you that I got a multi-million-dollar fraud at the Enmore NDC? My taxes don't go there, at least directly. I don't pay property tax at Enmore NDC. I don't pay for lands and buildings at Enmore NDC. I pay for the Buxton NDC. And so if I should say, that's not my business, when it affects Buxton, I'm going to talk about it. How are we making a better society? Am I bound to get into my vehicle and go to Victoria and Beirut and Dazzle and West La Penitence and all Golden Grove and all the other places I go to highlight issues? I'm not bound to. But how am I contributing to the betterment of my society if I just sit in my comfort zone and say, well, hey, they're not affecting me? Am I bound to call out Satire Girl when she's screwing up the education system? I passed secondary school. My eldest child has completed university. My school-age child is in 5th form. And I'm sure between her brother and I, we can teach her everything that she needs to know. Or even if we can't teach her, we can afford to pay for her to go to lessons. So really and truly, I should be fretting over the education system and complaining about what's happening in the schools. No, I could deal with that in a more comfortable way. But I'm making a contribution to improving the quality of life for everybody in this society. Because when I cuss Satire Girl and tell she should do a stupidness, and she makes an effort to improve it, every child in the education system will benefit. MDs who come here and tell me find a job. MDs, trenches who come here and tell me the PPP gonna be in government forever. Y'all don't recognize they gotta benefit from my sacrifices? And at least gonna be thankful? Right now, the Dunson Education Minister, Satire Girl, and all of the PPP cabinet are mucking up the education system in this country. Our children were out of school for 1 month already because of their incompetence. Those children who were going to grade 7 are now scheduled to go to school today. In a country where our money is flowing, where government can take people's money and sponsor carnival, and sponsor cricket, and sponsor all things that make no sense in the society. Those 7th grade students are now being told in a whole lot of schools around this country that they have to attend school on shifts. Because they do not have adequate furniture in the classrooms for them. And they do not have adequate space accommodation in the schools for them. And so they have to attend school on shift. Friendship Primary and East Bank, school on shift. Some will go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The others will go Tuesday and Thursday. 1 week, and then it alternates the next week. What are we talking about? In 2022, when this country is flush with our money, flush with resources, our children have to go to school on shift? When even in the 80s, when things were so bad, it wasn't happening? Going to school on shift system started under the PPP government of past and continues under the PPP of present. Potential secondary. I understand they are going to be taking in about in excess of 200 students today with no place to put them. But Satire Girl, Picnic, go get drive to school in Prado, possibly with Outrider. The fat guy Picnic, go get drive to school with Prado, possibly with Outrider. And security at the school gates. But here we are, the oppressed and downtrodden, going at each other's throat for these criminals and their offspring to continue to walk on our backs and suck the marrow out of our bones. Like I say, I could rock back. I don't give 3 damns about that. But how does that benefit me? When I work back and the children in our communities don't get a proper education, they become thieves and vagabonds. And the very people who force them into a life of failure and poverty are the very people who will cast aspersion to them at them and say, them black man like thief, them black man are like walk, what's going to church by them? I owe it to myself and my community to stand up and ensure that doesn't happen. And so when you hear me on Friday say, I ain't going past a certain time with this program because I got my children to go and feed, it's because I got them as a priority. I can't feed them every day, Monday to Friday. God knows I wish I can afford it. But if I attempt to do it every day, it is going to affect me because cost, time is money. I will have to lose more time to get it done. I'll have to lose financial resources, more financial resources to get it done. And so, by overextending myself, I will be impoverishing myself. I will be of more service to them and this community and you if I'm in poverty. And so, up until now, I'm sticking to it on Fridays. But I guess you always see the greater value of me even doing it. Yeah, I just feel. I like feed people. There's a value to feeding them. If our children are nourished, then they can focus in the classroom. They're going to get better grades. They get better schools when they write the examination. And with continued support system, they come out, as we like to say, bat in hand. It's less problem for the society I live in. But you got Dunson education minister that can't even see them. Right? You can't even see them. You can't see them. I know what something I can't see too, like Kerry Perry. Who telling me about the dyslexic, autistic, fat guy dancing on stage with Michelle Montano? Is he named Montano or Michelle? Whoever. Michelle. Adam Becky. Right? What I can't see is instead of using the money to improve the conditions of the people and the citizen, they're using the money to give you a false sense of hope and security by concerts and carnivals and bacchanal. You're going to be happy for a day, happy for 2 days. And in the long run, your children are suffering. They got furniture in the schools. The hundreds of millions that the government contribute to hosting carnival and bacchanal for the president to politic with. Because if you don't recognize it as the PPP campaigning through these things, then you don't understand crap. The hundreds of millions that are taken to wage political war against you, the citizens of this country, could be used to improve the lives and livelihood of the people in this nation. And better yet, improve the conditions under which our children get an education. You can't see that. But when the president don't jump his ass on stage, like just what he is, a clown, every damn fool is on social media talking. The president is the realest thing, is the best president Ghana ever had. Well, if that is the best president Ghana ever had, I am living among some of the worst dunces in the country, in the world. Because if you deem the best president and the realest president for jumping up on a carnival stage, they say, one I man a king of blind eye country. And Ali is certainly king in a country of dunces. That's what you're judging a president on? Forbes Burnham up to this day remains the best president this country has ever seen. In my opinion, you are entitled to yours. A formidable education system was established under him. Ghanaians were respected across the world as the most educated. Healthcare system, manufacturing sector, security system, institutions were put in place to cater for every young child. Because if you don't want to take academic, you're going to go to the skills, the technical training centers, the national service. That is what presidents do, or governments with the people's interests at heart do. Under this corrupt administration 23 years ago, and currently, the very system that the best president this country has ever seen had put in place, they dismantled. Go check the multilateral schools. They are multilateral in construct. But you go check their technical education department, under-equipped, ill-equipped, or not equipped at all. And you telling me this autistic chap is the best president we ever had? A man who can pronounce simple words and put simple sentences together, compared to all the others who could have spoken off the top of their heads, as if they swallowed a dictionary, and this is the best president y'all ever had. But I know why we're in this problem. Because we have the biggest population of dunces as citizens. I have no apologies to make for it. It is a fact. A whole large percentage of the population are young people, especially who praising Ali and his nonsense and the PPP and the foolishness. They're dunces. They grow up on the satire girl, no child left behind. And so they can't even reason. So they can't tell what is wrong and what is right. You live in a society where in the 21st century, 2022, in 2022, citizens are not free to express their opinions on the behavior of government. They attack you left, right, and center. Kams TV page hacked and destroyed or whatever. Because we come here and we address issues related to government. If I don't put up the necessary safeguards, the program gets disconnected every second. In 2022, you're dealing with a government who doesn't believe in freedom of expression. In 2022, citizens wanting to protest the constitutional body to say you're not doing the right thing are barricaded and prevented from going close by police. And you see the man who is sitting in the seat of president as being the best this country has ever had. In as much as we cuss Granger and call him one of the weakest presidents this country has ever had, his government never interfered with protests. His government never tried to hack and take down opposition pages on social media. But we relegate him to the dustbin of history and call him this jackass the best president this country has ever seen, because he could jump on a stage, albeit out of rhythm and everything else. What does that make us? in 2022, a society where if every now and again I turn on my music a little hard, neighbors over and they call the police to say, hey, this man disturbing me. And the police will come running. But every living night on Sheriff Street, they got 2 mobile testers, choice and leases or whatever they call it, bombarding or creating conditions for residents around the area to be bombarded with loud music. And every time these people are calling to the police to get some peace, to get some rest, and no corrective actions are taken. Instead, they're getting phones hung up in their ears. In 2022, when I sent several of those videos of complaints to the WhatsApp number of Clifton Hickins, the man that says Commissioner of Police, and they're not even getting acknowledgement, and those people continue to live in turmoil, discomfort. We're saying we got the best president that this country has ever seen. Well, we are some of the biggest dunces around the world. In which other country would a fast food joint, a mobile, whatever you call it, be allowed to operate from 6 in the night till 6 in the morning? Or 7 in the morning, depending on the day of the week, and bombard the community with loud music? Months ago, we had a fete at the BUXTON bar, they call it. The place where everybody want to go to. The oil place. Y'all see me, I don't remember trash. Dubai. Welcome to Dubai, a night in Dubai in BUXTON. They got till about 9 o'clock the next morning, bombarding the people with loud music. People telling the railway line complain how they couldn't sleep. And the police dare not upset it because it's one of the president's man. And we got the best president in the world. Or the best president this country has ever seen. A president of lawlessness, corrupt and criminal associations. But it's the best president. Y'all give me a break. 7 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. They say, why should I do first or do last? Those people were expecting Kams Saturday rhythms. Couldn't happen last Saturday. Those people were expecting the walk in Wrestler Penitence. Couldn't happen last Saturday. Those people were going to expect me to be protesting this week. It wouldn't happen. I am mourning the death of my aunt. She was the mother of Dion Abrams. Y'all know Dion Abrams from Groundings. Walter Rodney Groundings in Channel 9. And Annandale Secondary and wherever else you know him from. Mirandoy and so on. Yes, that same Dion Abrams. He's my first cousin. So he is mourning the death of his mother. I'm mourning the death of my aunt. The only programming I'm going to be doing from now until after she's buried is BUXTONIAN morning time. Don't expect me to go anywhere and do any live. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to be protesting. I'm not going to be hosting any entertainment programs. None of this sort. Right? Keep that in mind for me. You're the regulars. You know who are the people who are usually on this program, BUXTONIAN morning time. Share the information with them. They can join us on Kams TV on YouTube or on SAGE, Society for African Guyanese Empowerment. That's the page I'm currently broadcasting from, along with YouTube. Right? So that's how they're going to get the program in. Outside of that, there are those people who have me on WhatsApp contact. I've been trying to send the link to them. some who I miss have been contacting me for the link. That's how we're going to build back this platform. I have to jump through hoops to get back Kams TV page. I am willing to try, but honestly, I really don't have that time. I don't have the temperament right now. I'm not at that emotional and psychological state to have to go through all these hoops to sort out a Facebook page. So I don't know when I'll attend to that, if ever. And you know, life is funny. I want to say this. And these are experiences you get all the time. You learn. There's some people who were benefiting, and I dare say financially from the use of Kams TV page. Because there are people who are into the business of live streaming. And if somebody is going to hire you to do a live stream for them, the wider the audience you can reach, the better you can bargain. And so I had at least one person on this page who was benefiting from that kind of relationship, because he would call and say, I got to do this live stream. I got to do this press conference for Tom, Dick, Harry, Joan. Will you allow me to stream on your page? Yeah, man, no problem. Go stream. Not at a cost, you know. Just go stream. Not you're going to give me a contribution when you're done. Just go stream. That person has extensive knowledge in dealing with these things. And I said to them over the weekend, we have lost the page. It has been hacked. There's a process to be gone through to get it back from Facebook or wherever. I want you to take care of it. Can you? I haven't seen a response from them yet. Right? My guess is I'm not going to get a response. But now I talk about it, somebody might tell them, hey, your name calling. Right? Hey, your name calling. And I might be willing to come then. And sometimes I share these things so that people understand that it's not everybody in the boat with you that will always be rowing in the same direction with you. Or they will row in the same direction with you for as much that there is a benefit for them directly out of that. But a lot of people are not willing to do anything for the name of community, the name of cause. It is how does it affect my pocket. The late Namila Baines, Henry Rowe, and all the other names we used to call her, used to say to me, Kidaki, you have to understand people. For the most case, they ask, what is in it for me? Right? And I live that experience and I see it every day. The lines are open. 622-5933 is the number to call. is the number to call. Call and let's talk a thing. Shortage of furniture in the education system when Guyana is flush with financial and other resources. I saw Village Voice said that Satirical and the ministries continue the Granger feeding program. But I don't hear of that feeding program happening in Buxton. At least not yet. Unless I don't have my ears to the ground close enough. But so far I've heard of no discussion that this feeding program is happening in Buxton. What happened? Buxtonian children don't have need for breakfast and lunch though. It's taxpayers' money. Bring it and let us refuse it. If you think we're going to refuse it, you bring it, man. Let us refuse it. Michelle Jones, I know you know the person. Call A Live, good morning.
Good morning, Kudaki. I would like to firstly extend my condolences to you and your entire family. Saturday when I came home, I was out. And when I got in very late, I noticed it. And I did put up a comment, send you a sympathy message. Anyway, about the move to YouTube, I had to learn all over again. And I'm with you in the struggle. Now, I noticed yesterday, this morning on the Facebook, while I was getting to you, about the carnival, the parties, and all kind of things that the nation enjoyed, mainly the African people. And I put in a comment, you see how y'all come out to this here, but y'all don't come out and protest with all the ills that is affecting them in the community. As soon as you got things like this, the black people go out there in the droves and support. And then come today, the skin in the teeth and the talking out things bad, all the punishing, and the can't put thing in the children lunch kit. And the children got to go to school and be embarrassed and degraded to collect them type of things what they're offering to them to eat. Now children are funny people. When you show a child that they got to live to the bottom of the barrel, they got to survive on scraps, some of them might say, you know what, we gonna go through the life at this same junk, this same type of thing, scraping anybody through off his wheel. While some other children are being motivated to say, you know what, we wouldn't stay at the bottom. We must strive to get to the middle, if possible the top, and they're gonna work for it. And when you sit down and you talk to parents and you try to tell them these things, they look at you as a hater and a racist. So they have got to know. And I will be keeping my ears to the ground to attend the funeral. Other than that, I want to bring to the entire viewing audience, my harassment has begun since the story in the court. I was on the road and the woman came up and she started her harassment. I did not have my phone and I will not have a phone because right now I'm sporting a laptop and I'm not going to walk with it to take her picture. I'm going to carry it to the station. They said that I am cyberbullying her again. But I am going to be looking to somewhere for some type of help because I cannot continue my life. By the time the case was in the court, was peace. But since the magistrate going to tell me I got to pay this $500,000 fine, and I have people of standing who is going to pay this fine for me, my life has digressed back to what it was prior to that case.
Rhonda.
So that is how things stand.
Rhonda.
Yeah.
Well, I'll ask you something. You believe you could beat this woman?
Kadaki, I don't know.
Rhonda, you didn't assess this woman physically already. Do you think you could beat her?
I don't know, Kadaki. I don't know.
You know, sometimes all you have to do is to get some peace is be prepared to pay a fine for cutting her ass.
No, well, but if I do the no, the magistrate might send me to prison for the balance of my natural life.
Rhonda, you don't go to prison for the balance of your natural life for beating people.
Okay.
Right? Especially if you beat them with your fist. They can't say it's attempted murder or anything. It's a fist fight. That's why I want to tell you to take up a piece of iron and beat you. Scramble you, man.
Okay.
I mean, people in the program want to say promoting violence and so. But some people simply got to give them a good beating. Have a good day. Unless you have something else to talk about. You know, in the name of peace, you just go about your business. You just bite your tongue. As I said, you hope your man tell you too much stick because you want problems with people. But how much more can somebody take? And in 2022, when the police is supposed to be impartial and unbiased, this woman has been complaining of how many reports she has made to the police over time. Instead of them acting on it, instead of her getting justice, instead of her getting peace, she ended up in front of the court for cyberbullying. Then they see the frustration that might have led her to that if she did it. She is now faced with a $500,000 fine, and this person is at her harassing her again. No, sometimes we just gotta be prepared to do what we gotta do. Call A Life, good morning.
Morning, Kadaki, and condolences to you and your family. Morning, Guyana. I do believe that, and I've said this to myself before, I think it's official that a lot of the African Guyanese in Guyana have lost their mind. They'll come out for, one stinking Guyana carnival cricket. And like it was explained, when you come out and ask them question, they think you're racist or whatnot, because it's official. They are simply, and I like to use this term, very stupid, and simply just don't understand the dire needs we're in. There's so much to things that are happening, and it just seems like nothing is being done. Like you've said to Rhonda, at some point, you got to cut their ass. Now, as a political party and as a people, we've been taking too much licks, and we refuse to give it back out. And I've said this before, the only way the racist holy people are going to understand is if you bust their ass. If you can't live in peace, they cannot also live in peace. Over and over again. But apparently, we got this stupid lobe in our brain that want to pray that the racists are going to do things better. I mean, you got Claudette Singh, the DPP is who is the PPP, Ali Shak. You've got Ramson Jr. We've got so much, but yet still we follow these people all around each day, thinking they're the best thing since sliced bread. Come on. I've been saying this. How long I've been saying, come on, black people. How stupid can you be to buy into this bull partying? We officially love partying and don't care anything about else. Give them rum, give them whining, and then we can actually take over their minds and brains. Stupidity rules Guyana, and especially the African Guyanese. How are they going to accept $2 million per bridge and think, well, that's what we get and that's what we're going to take? Isn't that stupid? Crumbs being thrown at you while these people are getting away with billions of dollars stealing. And we just sit down there and say, buy what we can do. It's way past time we start cutting some coolie ass, and that's my take.
Thank you, caller. The lines remain on 6225933 is the number to call. You know, and on this same education issue, this issue, where children now have to go to school on a shift system because of inadequate, what am I calling it, facilities and so on. How do you expect to change it? How do you expect to change it? You know how to change it? By demanding. You have to demand. If you don't demand, you can't get. And so the parents, yes, call Mr. Amsterdam and tell Mr. Amsterdam what's happening Ask him to publicize it. But what about the parents getting themselves and their children together and standing in front of the school and say we demand better? What about that? But no, we live in a society where we believe that the president jumping up on stage to Bacchanal is what makes him the best. And so we're not demanding that education be prioritized and be treated properly. Right? How will we better the system? How will we better the system? I saw a video of maybe a Bobishan girl at a cricket. She had a placard. She had a protesting for her husband. Yeah. Because the placard said, Bobishan girl looking for husband. Or Bobishan woman looking for husband. All those people went to cricket for Bacchanal. You mean none of y'all couldn't get a banner? That's why we want furniture in our schools. There's inadequate accommodation in our schools for our children who are already away from school for 1 month because of the incompetence of Sitaragan. Huh? All of y'all who went to Carnival and Super Concert 1 and 2 and all of that. Nobody couldn't come up with a little protest. Even on a t-shirt to say inadequate furnishings in the school is not acceptable in 2022. Despite we know that the president is autistic. Huh? But no. We're going to accept our shift system for our children. And we're going to look for the next Bacchanal and the next handout of $30,000. Because one woman said $30,000 is a break. She ain't going to depend on the father of the child for anything. I wonder how long the $30,000 going to last. I really wonder that. Voice note.
Good morning, Mr. Karaki, and my condolences to you and your family. You know what? Let me say, the African Guyanese in this country right now, they're very comfortable. And I don't think people should be so much interested in their well-being. Because you check Saturday, they were in their numbers out there, having fun. This morning, some can't even send the children to school. Some gonna go to work with empty stomach. They only waiting for you to open your bowl. I'm talking from experience to come and ask you for something to eat. That's how we people intend to live. We do not think for our future, we think for today. And if that is the way that they're gonna continue, the PPP likes that. Because at the end of the day, they're giving them nothing, but they're taking from them. Because what did they give to public servants since they're in there? And most of them are public servants that went out there Saturday. I can bet my last dollar. What did they give them? They're just taking from them all the time and giving them nothing. And if they're prepared for that, they could go right ahead. We people can do better than that because we could keep our own stuff and don't go to these people things. But what? We support it. That means we're okay. And they're saying that in their mind and they're laughing at them. They're okay. They're telling we give them public service money, servants money. Give them money for what? They got money, you see them how they dress up, you see how they and they're laughing them. That is the stupidness of our black people in this country at point in time. Anyhow, that's it. Let's see what will happen. Bye.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for that voice note. The lines remain on 622-5933 is the number to call. Yes, Club Twilight. It's starting. They got the thing coming up on Thursday the 13th. It's starting from Thursday the 13th. It's called the Old School Thursdays. Karaoke on demand. Come out and have a good time starting the 13th of October at Club Twilight. DJ Bishop and Selected Delta on the ones and twos, along with Kams Audio. Come on down. Yes, Club Twilight. Old School Thursdays with Selected Delta and DJ Bishop, beginning on the 13th of October. Karaoke on demand, oldies and some good old school party. Come on down and have a good time at Club Twilight from the 13th. Call A Live, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Kadaki. Good morning to the listening public. I'm not really surprised, but you know, I know for a fact that 99% of the persons who went to these shows and all these carnivals and stuff like that was black people, right? The Indian people only support the cricket. They support the cricket overwhelmingly, right? But they did not go to these shows, right? So all these shows is only black people get going to these shows. So if this government give you money with one hand, they're taking it back with another, right? Because all these shows, you could have seen that it was supported overwhelmingly by black people, right? I know today most of them like struggling to put a meal on the table or send the children to school or so, you know what I mean? And we don't understand this, and we would never understand it. We would never understand it. You tell these people not to support these things, right? Because these things are orchestrated by the PPP, right? It's better you don't tell black people at all. So I don't know where we're going. I don't know where we're going. That's my contributions. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Kerry Perry. Sometimes I'm tired of calling people by their full names. Right? I see Kerry Perry talking about the Ministry of Education being allocated the biggest budget in the 553 billion. And the autistic fat guy can't micromanage everything. If you know, if you are the owner of a business and you know that you're provided the resources to manage this business efficiently and effectively, and the manager is failing at it, what do you do? What do you do, Kerry Perry? As far as I know, I will fire the damn manager. I will fire the manager. I've been talking about the best president in the world. Let me give you all an idea of how presidents operate and how presidents should operate. Again, the same Granger that we cuss and relegate to the dustbin. Rupert Rupnarain of the WPA was in charge of education. And in my mind, when Granger tell himself Rupert moving too slow, he moved him from education and he sent him to public works. And he put Nicolette Henry at education. Or elevated her to senior minister because she was junior minister in education. The education ministry at that time perhaps needed some speed. Not only thought power, not only thinking power, and planning power and vision as Rupert Rupnarain possessed, but it needed some youth and speed for implementation. And since Rupnarain was apparently too slow, Granger movie elevated Nicolette. She had some stumbles, let us give her that. She had her own troubles. But then she came to the table and she started to turn the education system around. That's what leaders do. That's what good presidents do. When they have ministers that can't function, they shuffle them around or they shuffle them out. So Kerry Perry, what are you telling me? Having the biggest allocation in the budget in the school, children who have seats to sit on and accommodation for them to attend school 5 days a week for 7 or 8 hours, and that is acceptable to you? You definitely are part of the dunce population in this country. Y'all could keep justifying. Sing for your soup. Y'all keep doing that. It's 25 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour. The lines remain open. Let me play some more Itano. Itano, where you tune girl? Yes. They could keep coming after my soul. I ain't afraid.
I see them coming after my soul, wanting to take control. Wanna give me laughs, wanna give me bling, wanna give me all the material things. I hear them talking about what the world has to offer. Girl, what you doing, don't you see what they have done to Bedouin and Marcus, Jesus and all of the prophets? But I'm not afraid, no, no, I'm not afraid, no, I'm not afraid, no. If them a come, let them come, cause I'm protected by the Most High One. They don't mind when you fall behind and can't pay your bills on time. Prostituting or standing in a them government line. No, and they don't mind when you waste it.
You know the same Dunson minister that failing the education system, that you are protecting and you are talking, trying to find excuses for all kind of thing. You know she flew her husband, you know she flew her father out of this country on a private jet recently for medical care? Y'all know that? That's what you have money doing. That's what taxpayers' money doing. They have furnishings and accommodation for children in school. But she said father could be flown out of the country on private jet to seek medical attention. Itana, play.
Time coming up with some stupid lines, influencing the youth, them for snort a line or take a line. And they don't mind when you're locked up in jail, can't get no bail, sentence for life. I can't see your youth them strive. No, they don't mind. But I'm not afraid, no. No, I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid, no. If them a come, let them come, cause I'm protected by the Most High One. Them coming after my soul, wanting to take control. Wanna give me laughs, wanna give me bling, wanna give me all the material things. I hear them talking about what the world has to offer. Girl, what you doing, don't you see what they have done to Bedouin and Marcus, Jesus and all of the prophets? But I'm not afraid, no, no, I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid, no. If them a come, let them come, cause I'm broke.
Call all the line. Call it live. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning, Kadaki. My condolences to you and the family on your recent bereavement. One of the things I want to talk about has to do with the caption I saw over the weekend. Someone posted a list of names that received this Fisher grant, and I was so appalled at the number of people in the same lot or address same names receives $150,000. And I'm saying, and the list was just a partial list. It wasn't the entire thing. So many people carry the same name from the same household, and there is no cry, there is no outcry of skullduggery. I find it appalling. The evidence is there, and no one is making any fuss over that. The other thing, people may laugh, but I'm saying something seems to have gone wrong with the mindset of black people in Guyana. I am thinking, and the only thing I could come up with, whatever these Indians are doing in Guyana with the Johnny flag must have encapsulated black people's spirit. For them to just wine and dine at the whims and fancy of the fat boy. At the cricket, you see a bundle of Indians pack up in the stand. And when it comes to show the one Guyana as the fat guy is trying to portray, like at the carnival and the marching or whatever they call it, you hardly see Indians in any at all. Black people just populate those things. And as the earlier people who spoke said, they don't even know where they're going to find the next meal to put in their children's kit this morning for school. Why are we allowing ourselves to be pulled in a direction which is not befitting of us? I think the black population need to go to the seawall and get some salt water bath, man. Oh my God, something is not right. How could black people have such weak souls that they're easily enticed into doing that which is so wrong, and they're not noticing it? Yesterday, look on the video and see so many young kids, black kids, and their parents and their grandparents going to look at street fun. This is beyond crazy, man. Something is not right. For those who don't want to go to the seawall and get salt water, maybe go to the black water and bathe your skin, man. Get that nonsense off of your persona. This is getting real out of order now. I can't understand what's going on in Guyana. The people do them the God's worst. And yet, when you throw up a bacchanal for them, they come out like flies. And they can't come and spend, and they can't show up in front of GCOM with a small population of 25 or 30 people. Isn't there something? Look, Kadaki, sometimes I really wonder why you kill yourself so much up for them, but I guess you are onto something, and we just can't give up on them. But for God's sake, man, something got to happen, man. Something has got to happen to help these people because they are not helping themselves. Anyway, Kadaki, you have a wonderful day, and let God continue to bless you in the direction that you will go in.
Thank you for your call. Sing it, Anna, sing.
I'm not afraid, no. If them a come, let them come, cause I'm protected by the Most High One. They don't mind when you fall behind and can't pay your bills on.
You're live. Good morning. Call it live. Good morning.
Good morning, Kadaki. I am so sick and tired of the PPP regime. I'm getting fed up. I don't know what is these people program. They're so vindictive and they are lying through their teeth. I'm looking at what is wrong with this guy named Cryptics? Kadaki, I'm so frustrated and appalled by this guy Cryptic. He's always on his show lying, and he's always ridiculing Granger. The best president that we had for that 5 years was Mr. Granger. And I could tell anybody that. And everybody, they notice that, but they're too damn idiotic to accept it and say it out that Granger was the best president for that 5 years. And the country was in good condition running smoothly. Everything was so calm. Everything was peaceful. And we were so safe. And why isn't Jagde being investigated? Why is he still up there prancing around? And he was up in Scotland yesterday, I think, or day before yesterday, lying to the guy, these people up here. And you know, he's acting as if he's the president or the owner of Guyana. I'm not seeing their front alley talking on press and media as much as Barrett Jagdale. So it makes me wonder, who is the president? Another issue I have, Kadaki, and I think you would agree with me. This guy who is on Critics platform, his name is Ozzy. I look at his show the other day. You know, this man sat there and blatantly lied about everything that the APNU did. The APNU never did anything. That is what this guy sit there and say. Nothing. And if the PPP hadn't come into power, we all would have been suffering and we all would have died. This man is so stupid. And I wonder, since if the apartheid state, I wonder if Ozzy gets up in the morning and black man. That is what is baffling me. These delinquents, incompetent fools in there need to be taught a lesson, a very stern lesson. And I think we need to start with the public assistance, the public, what do you call it? I'm getting carried away because I'm so appalled. We need to start getting stern with these people. And you know, we need to shut this country down because the PPP taking the eyes and pass me. You know this man, or as he sits there and say, he called Granger, David Granger, a thief, a big thief. I wish I had my way to tell him that if Granger was a thief, how come he left $677 billion US dollars in the resource fund for the PPP now to thief it from there and put it in their pockets? How come that money is there? And if he's saying Granger is a thief, why is that money there? And how come it's there still for them to be getting the benefit of the money, the resources funds that Granger placed there for emergency in case of oil spill? Now, you know, the man built the passport office, so people don't be having to travel all the way to, well, we still don't have to go all the way to Georgetown. He built the police station, he built the bridge, he built a lot of things. And these incompetent delinquents fool is taking all the credit for that, Kadaki, and I'm very much upset about it. I'm so upset about it. The critic is running around the whole of Guyana, and I'm videoing everything and telling everybody, oh, this is what the PPP is doing, and the PPP is doing progress, and all your APNU followers in see it, we only go in, only follow the wrong set of people. And I am not believing what I'm hearing and seeing. Karaki, I need for you to explain that to me because I'm sick and tired of the PPP and they need to get out of office very soon. Anyway, have a good day.
Thank you, Carla. I don't think there's much I need to explain there. The mouth is muzzled by the stupid. The mouth is muzzled by the food it eats. The mouth is muzzled by the food it eats. And if critic is eating at the PPP table, I explained to you already. If you're accustomed to eating out of a garbage bin and somebody invites you to a table for sour soup, you are better off. You will sing their praises. Right? It's as simple as that. If you are accustomed to getting nothing and you're getting a morsel, you are better off. And you will sing the praises of the person who gives you that morsel. And so critic singing the praises of the PPP and cussing Granger is not surprising to me. Because critic was down in the doldrums. The man is punishing. And I know what I'm saying. I tell you, I used to Lyman Rob Street with critic. We used to meet up at the same business place of a friend of mine. There's always by 2 beer now. Things bad on Regent Street. Those people who operated and operate from Regent Street can tell you who critic is. Critic had a long running battle with somebody in court over a canter truck that he borrowed from the man, and the man alleges that he sold it after. These are what y'all want to do. Why? First thing, I don't even know why y'all got time to listen to these people. Who is Aussie or whatever you're talking about? I never heard the name before. So y'all spend time doing other things. Spend time walking around your communities and pointing out the challenges of your communities to your neighbors so they could understand what is happening. Spend time building allegiances in your communities so we can work with them to get this stinking dirty cabal out of office. Y'all listening to critic. Semi-literate critic. Listen. I look for voice note come, yes.
Ready, good morning. You got time for sit down and listen critics. It's time you got to sit down and listen. People like them though, I don't even entertain on my phone.
Yeah? Same thing as saying. This woman knows what she's talking about. Time is money. Why spending time listening to critic for? Yeah, give me a break. 9 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. Sing it time to sing. Sing.
Time prostituting and standing in a them government line. No, and
they don't mind
when you waste your time coming up with some stupid lines, influencing the youth them to snort a line and take a life. And they don't mind when you're locked up in jail, can't get no bail, sentence for life. I can't see your youth them strive. No, they don't mind. But I'm not afraid, no. No, I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid, no. If them a come, let them come, cause I'm protected by the Most High One. Them coming after my soul, wanting to take control, wanna give me laughs, wanna give me bling, wanna give me all the material things. I am talking about what the world has to offer. Girl, what you doing, don't you see what they have done to Bedouin and Marcus, Jesus and all of the prophets? But I'm not afraid, no. Come, cause I'm protected by the Most High One. They don't mind when you fall behind and can't pay your bills on time. Prostituting and standing in a them government line. No, and they don't mind when you waste your time coming up with some stupid lines, influencing the youth them to snort a line and take a life. And they don't mind when you're locked up in jail, can't get no bail, sentence for life. I can't see your youth them strive. No, they don't mind. But I'm not afraid, no. No, I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid, no. If them a come, let them come, cause I'm protected by the Most High One.
Marcel Oscar says, come and join the train. We got space for you. I'm comfortable in my spirit, Marcel. How do I look at myself? How do I sleep at nights? No? Comfortable since I put my head down again. Joining you gravy train, can't make it. It won't make it. Marcel said you used to cuss Granger, don't pretend you're like, you know. Let me tell you something. I might be like the US. Being our friends. I got interest. Once you serve the interest of the people, I could back you. But if you ain't serving the interest of the people, I can't back you. Right? And so I criticize Granger when criticism is warranted. But even as much as I cuss Granger, when I compare Granger to this autistic president you got named Ali, he comes up way ahead of the curve. So that's my point. It's 5 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. I might close by addressing Marcel Oscar. And yes, what have I achieved since I've been hosting this program for a little over 2 years? Marcel, you go first. What have you achieved in a little over 2 years? And let me extend the question for you. What has been the impact of your achievement? There's something a saying, gold or silver I have none. Huh? Gold or silver I have none. I am sure you can boast of achieving lots and lots of material things. I get a big contracts, boy. I upgrade from the old car. I got a bicycle I used to ride like Clement Roy. You're driving Prado now. I am almost sure you can make those boasts. But what have you really achieved? What have you achieved? Have you achieved peace of mind? Have you achieved a clearer conscience? I have achieved. And in case you don't know, when us teachers have impacted people's lives with education, with knowledge, it's one of our biggest achievements. And so I know I have achieved. I know there are tons and tons of people who benefited from my teachings and these programs. I've seen some of them put those teachings in action and change their lives. That's achievement for me. If you're asking me what I have acquired materialistically, not much. Am I satisfied with my achievements? Extremely, I'm elated. It's an achievement to get you to jump through hoops, to get onto this platform to be able to address me. It wasn't an easy task for you to come back, right? But you got through eventually. That's an achievement of mine. Make you work to get to address me. And the other scores of trenches who inbox me every day to ask, man, Mr. Amsterdam unblock me, no man. That's an achievement. To get a set of people who pretend publicly that they don't understand what you're saying. They disagree with what you're saying. But when you block them from your platform, they come begging at your feet to be allowed the opportunity to even view your content. That's an achievement. What is your achievement, Marcel? I got 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to leave it to you. I got 2 or 3 minutes. So tell them sing, and you can tell me what your achievements were or are. Sing it, Anna. In fact, you know what? I'm changing the tune right now. I'm changing the tune. Right? Some other brooms like this one. When your black is a big threat, unless you have a problem, I can't stand black people who stand up for what is right. I can't do it. It bothers y'all.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car.
It bothers y'all, man.
When your black hair is a big threat, never seen nothing like this yet. Such a pretty brown skin, when you see my melanin, you better show some respect. They can't contain me, no, so they wanna come change me, no. It's a mental slavery, minimal bravery, me not see the fix yet. So no, I won't lower my standards. So watch me fight for what's mine, who I am proud of. Whoa. You won't be taking what's mine, I don't play by my culture. Whoa. Out of many, one people all the same. Same color, blood flow through within. The strongest survive the human race. Only love will last along the way. Tell your children black is beautiful. To be alive is a whole lot of privilege. Education is the key to rule the world. You don't need to be white to be a pretty girl. Tell your children black is beautiful. How we now go back for no privilege. Knowledge is a ruler of the world. You don't need to be white to be a pretty girl. When your black hair is a big threat, never seen nothing like this yet. Such a pretty brown skin, when you see my melanin, you better show some respect. They can't condemn me, no, so they wanna come change me, no. It's a mental slavery, minimal bravery, me not see the fix yet. So no, I won't lower my standards. So watch me fight for what's mine, who I am proud of. You won't be taking what's mine, I don't play by my culture. Yeah. Tell your children black is beautiful. To be alive is a whole lot of privilege. Education is the key to rule the world. You don't need to be white to be a pretty girl. Tell your children black is beautiful. And we now go back for no privilege. Knowledge is a ruler of the world. You don't need to be white to be a pretty girl. Black is beautiful. To be alive is a black is beautiful. When you see my melanin, you better show some respect. Black is beautiful. When your black hair is a big threat. Black is beautiful.
This is Mars Murder Mystery.
Your voice is a podcast voice.
This is Mars Murder Mystery. There's an intergalactic killer on the loose.
See where it takes you with Anchor by Spotify.
But here, there's nowhere left to hide.
Start your podcast with Anchor.
When your black hair is a big threat, never seen nothing like this yet. Such a pretty brown skin, when you see my melanin, you better show some respect. They can't contain me, no, so they wanna come change me, no. It's a mental slavery, minimal bravery, me not see the fix yet. So no, I won't lower my standards. So watch me fight for what's mine, who I am proud of. You won't be taking what's mine, I don't play by my culture. Out of many, one people all the same. Same color, blood flow through within. The strongest survive the human race. Only love will last along the way. Tell your children black is beautiful. To be alive is a whole lot of
of privilege. Education is the key to rule the world. You don't need to be white to be a pretty girl. Tell your children black is beautiful. How we now go back for no privilege. Knowledge is the ruler of the world. You don't need to be white to be a pretty girl. When you're black, is a big threat. Never seen nothing like this yet. Such a pretty brown skin. When you see my melanin, you better show some respect. They can't condemn me, no. So they wanna come judge me, no. It's a mental slavery, minimal bravery. Me no see the fix yet. So no, I won't lower my standards. So watch me fight for what's mine, who I am proud of. You won't be taking what's mine, I don't play by my culture. Yeah. Tell your children black is beautiful. To be alive is a whole lot of privilege. Education is the key to rule the world. You don't need to be white to be a pretty girl. Tell your children black is beautiful. And we now go back for no privilege. Knowledge is the ruler of the world. You don't need to be white to be a pretty girl. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. When you see my melanin, you better show some respect. Is a big threat. Never seen nothing like this yet. Such a pretty brown skin. When you see my melanin, you better show some respect. They can't contain me, no. So they wanna come change me, no. It's a mental slavery, minimal bravery. Me not see the fix yet. So no, I won't lower my standards. So watch me fight for what's mine, who I am proud of. You won't be taking what's mine, I don't play by my culture. Out of many, one people all the same. Same color, blood flow through within. The strongest survive the human race. Only love will last along the way. Tell your children black is beautiful. To be alive is a whole lot of privilege. Education is the key to rule the world. You don't need to be white to be a pretty girl. Tell your children black is beautiful. How we now go back for no privilege. Knowledge is the ruler of the world. You don't need to be white to be a pretty girl. When you're black, is a big threat. Never seen nothing like this yet. Such a pretty brown skin. When you see my melanin, you better show some respect. They can't condemn me, no. So they wanna come judge me, no. It's a mental slavery, minimal bravery. Me no see the fix yet.
Good morning and goodbye. Catch y'all later.
So watch me fight for what's mine, who I am proud of.
You can join us tonight for WPS program. They give.
You won't be taking what's mine, I don't play by my culture. Yeah. Tell your children black is beautiful.
Check out YouTube
to
for
be
us this
alive is a whole lot of privilege. Education